want to show you to our lovely viewers is 37% of people report their managers are not aware that employees find it difficult to say no to them. Along those same lines, 17% report they do not feel comfortable speaking up if they have a concern. That's the global average, but the more toxic cultures had a much higher percentage than that. What can we do when we are in charge of people who we know they've been reported as being toxic?
I think that the best thing that an employer can do, or a boss, although bosses often tend to be the ones with the toxic behaviors, it's really about taking the complaint seriously and having a swift investigation, I would say within 5 business days, or start it with 1 business day, complete it within 5 business days, let the person who's making the complaint know the outcome, and take it seriously. So even if a lot of companies don't have a workplace bullying policy, but even if they do, so many don't enforce it. So it's really about showing your workers that you are walking the talk and you will enforce your own policies. You will do something if you find that there has been some abusive behavior going on, whether that's coaching or counseling the abuser, whether that's removing them from supervisory role, transferring them to a different area while doing all of this, but really making sure that the people or the person who's made the complaint feels heard and that they can be in a safe work environment. Really, in the short term, one of the things that happens with this so often is that targets, complainants, the employees who've been victimized tend to believe that the employer, or HR usually is who they complain to, that they're going to do something about it because HR convinces them that they're going to do something about it. And then they don't do something about it. They prolong the whole process. And eventually they might never do anything about it. And therefore, the target in this limbo, the stress is increasing, physical symptoms are increasing. It's really coming from our organization's legal department saying, we don't want this person to be a liability, therefore we need to push them out and add on to the abuse. And that's where the term mobbing comes in. It's really about taking action swiftly is what needs to happen.
Isn't it sad that when people are supposed to care, it's a medical care after all, and there is some bullying? What would be your advice to medical professionals how to tackle this problem?
I would say, like for anybody else, to really detach from what they're going through. I did decide that there was some aspect that you wanted to pursue legal help for, or even not. We don't actually have legal protections in the United States. There are legal protections in many European countries, but not here. But regardless, documentation can really help in terms of gaslighting or convincing somebody that their perception is wrong can really be an issue with this in terms of trying to get the target to internalize the problem and not have the bully have to take responsibility for their behavior. So if nothing else, documentation can help us see a pattern. And if we keep it at home, keep it in private, and just write down the facts of what happened, the date, time, things like that, witnesses, we can really start to see a pattern and use it as a reminder to ourselves that we are not the problem. And then I think a big aspect of this is really understanding that it's important that we work in cultures where our values align, and not just by, like I mentioned before, by what people say, but also by what they do. Getting clear on what our values are, this is a key part to the healing process, and carving out a life that's intentional, whether that's work related or not, intentionally making choices that align with those values and removing ourselves from situations when there is not a value alignment.